Welcome to Motherhood Aligned and Assigned, where we help guide mothers from symptoms to solutions.
We're Dr. Serena Coffman and Dr. Veronica Schiltz, nervous system specialists helping families discover the missing link in their wellness journey.
Join us as we translate complex health challenges into simple, actionable solutions for you and your children.
Because your family deserves to thrive,
not just survive. Okay, so the way I wanted to start this episode was just letting you know that every now and then when you have the care plan, you have the history, you try and take as much guesswork out as possible. But every now and then things just kind of take a turn and you're not sure exactly why. Not that we don't know what's going on. We still have the scans to kind of help us understand what's going on in the brain, but we don't necessarily know why we're not getting the results we want as quickly as we wanted to. And so in this episode, we're going to talk about a couple of patients we had, well, especially me, because I'm finally breaking past some plateaus with my patients. And after hours and hours and hours of figuring out what was going on, we finally found the solution. So I think that is something we can talk about too on this episode, is that like, usually with providers, you have something that they don't understand, and it's like, well, we gave it our best shot. Mm-hmm. But here with PX, the PX style, it's really cool because it just means you need to go deeper and figure out what exactly you're missing or what pieces to the puzzle that we're not putting together properly, right? So we're going to talk about what that looks like, what we can do about it, and why it's still beneficial to bring you and your family in, because you have doctors like this who truly go out of their way to figure out how we can understand things, even when we kind of get some curveballs thrown in the process.
Yeah. So talking about plateauing. So that's like, we start care, we're seeing lots of great progress. Mom's like, wow, she's sleeping. Wow, she's like, emotional regulation is awesome. And then all of a sudden you see a step back almost, right? So it's not even that you stop seeing progress. Would you say that you also see a step backwards? It was like 2 steps forward and then 1 step back. Is that what you were seeing?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Especially because like she was sleeping through the night and all of a sudden she wasn't. I was like, what
Mm-hmm.
happened?
Yeah. So what did happen? You said, we were chatting about this before, things that can create a plateau, right? Because the whole process we're working on here is removing layers, we can call them layers of stress from the nervous system so the body can express itself to its full potential. Mm-hmm. And stressors on the nervous system are emotional, physical, chemical, right? Mm-hmm. So first question I usually ask is, did we have a big change in emotional, physical, chemical? Did something big happen? Like for little ones, it's like a big growth spurt. And then did they get sick with an intense virus or bug? Or is dad out of town? That's my kids. It's like, if dad's out of town, they're like, dysregulation. Yeah, so did any of those things, or all of them, what happened?
Yeah, so I would say the biggest, because we were kind of headed, I kind of forgot about this. Actually, she started off being one of my easiest care plans I'd ever done, because it was like, scan 1, improvement, like, landslide of an improvement. Scan 2, landslide. Like, I was getting ready to release her to wellness, and then she got strep. And I feel like ever since then, we have been like in the question mark zone. And we just kept, moving forward, following the scans as much as possible. Following the symptoms too, right? Because we don't just go off of scans too. We ask how things are changing, how things are going, and it was like she was still sleeping, so we were okay. Her behavior kind of started to happen again, and then she started having more behavior, and then she started not sleeping, and I was like, almost felt like all of the progress we made was gone. Yeah. And then every time she came to get adjusted, it would get better, but then it would go back. So she wasn't holding her adjustment, and we're like, why? You were doing so good for like the first phase of care. And so yeah, I would say that's kind of what happened. Is after she got strep, it was like, what happened? Yeah. Everything just kind of halted and sometimes went back.
Did she need antibiotics for strep too?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So like double whammy to
right.
Like strep is so hard on the nervous system. And then antibiotics to just add another layer. Like obviously do what you gotta do, but I've heard of this being a setback for lots of people. Yeah. And it can be, like, strep in itself can be the start to like, why people find us, too. Right? It's like the cause. We won't call it cause. It's almost the
Magnifying glass?
No, like I want to say
spotlight?
catapult, but that doesn't feel like it.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's
Like the tipping
the
point.
tipping point for what we are labeling as like PANS or PANDAS, right? So,
Right.
which is just really intense nervous system fatigue
Which
and
I did kind of,
dysregulation.
I sent her the PX doc article on that because I was like, this kind of is what it sounds like
Mhm.
is what we're going through.
Yeah.
Because, behavior took a step back and all that stuff. And it wasn't like crazy enough to where it felt like an emergency.
Mhm.
Like she was getting better, but it was just, like the night and day difference
Yeah.
between when she had strep and when she didn't.
Yeah, so like her nervous system, while it was improving, wasn't ready for another big stressor.
Yeah.
That's how I felt. I had a little guy like that. Baby, he's been one of my toughest cases. And like getting better and sleeping longer and nursing a little better and just like becoming happier. And then he got sick. And I felt like we started all over. And he got sick like, towards the end of this care plan.
That's what we did too. Literally the next scan was going to be a release to wellness.
Yeah.
And that was 3 months ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I feel that. And then what's hard for us is like, well, now I have to tell this mom that we just need more time and money. For them, it feels like time and money. Which, I mean, this mom, and I think it sounds like your mom was the same way. She was like, look, let's do it. We gotta do what we gotta do.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, this has helped before, it'll help again. I think the moms who have been through it the most are just more willing to trust the process because they're like, they got no other choice.
Well, and she specifically said this is not new for my daughter, right? She was like, this is everywhere I've gone. This is how it happens. Like, there's something happens that we just weren't expecting. But I don't think she's ever had a provider press in more. Like, I think most providers are like, whoa, we can't figure it out, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it's been, I think, the refreshing thing for both of us because I'm always like, I promise I'm trying to give you like the best information I can.
Mm-hmm.
But I also think that she appreciated, and even this whole thing, I don't know how. But essentially, I was like, maybe we need a parent, maybe we need a referral, because we're never afraid of partnering together. Maybe she needs some integration. And even that physical therapist was like, I'm not sure. And so I was like, okay, well, then that means it's on me. Like, I need to figure out what I'm missing here. And so I leaned in even deeper. And so now we're finally past that plateau point. And I think she could really appreciate that when other providers were like, I'm not sure. We don't have any other tools for us. I kind of went back and looked into my toolbox to see what else I can find, and we found it, right? Like we're headed in an excellent. They're all very excited that progress is happening again,
nice.
Which is exciting.
What did you do? You noted. So PT wasn't really helping to integrate, so that wasn't the solution.
Well, she wasn't. She was having behavioral stuff during PT. So then I was like, she had regressed because her behavior was like doing so much better, and she regressed so much that behavior was a thing, and she couldn't even sit still for her sessions. And that's when I was like, that is a me job. Like that is surefire nervous system dysregulation, not just an integration problem. And so that's when I tapped into the PX community. I literally shared like 15 of her scans because I felt like they're all different. Like she just has them changing so fast. When I got extra eyes on it, they told me what it was, and I was like, oh my gosh, that makes so much sense. And it actually, T5 is a big immune center. Yeah, it's like a detox and immunity area. And I was like, that makes so much. That's been there since she got strep. I just couldn't see it. And honestly, I look back at the scans, and the scans were picking that up either, right? So maybe it just wasn't ready to be seen. I have to maybe think about that. But yeah, and then we did an intensive week, and now we're like even further than we were the first time that she was about to go into wellness, which is exciting. We didn't know what all we could do. Now her, everything's kind of calming down, and she's able to do a little more. She's having a couple of more impulsive behaviors, but sometimes that's good when you're like, okay, but things are changing consistently in the right direction instead of like the back and forth.
Cool. So as me sitting back as a parent who had come to you, what I just heard when you said all those things was, okay, this provider was willing to admit that maybe she didn't have all the answers, willing to refer out, willing to say, wait a minute, I do have that answer. I can take that on. Taking a step back, rescanning, so regathering objective data, reaching out to colleagues who are experts in this also to gather more information of like collaboration, what am I not seeing? And then going back to the drawing board of like, do I need a different technique, a different frequency of care? And then like having the guts to be like, hey mom, We need to go more and deeper.
Mayday.
Yeah, and doing it. I like that. Can you be my
Thanks.
chiropractor?
I'm sweating, but sure. No, I mean, truly, this has been one of the most trying cases I've ever had. And I'm just so thankful that I have a mom who really does see things the way you're seeing it. Because I don't know. I'm pretty hard on myself in terms of like, I pride my office on predictability and transparency.
Mm-hmm.
And I still think I'm showing up in that way. But I think the fact that I missed it just makes me feel like I was missing.
You didn't miss it. Look, guys.
Mark.
We spent, like, we prepped for this episode by looking through these scans and, like, chatting about this, like, sharing the case study. You didn't miss it. It showed up after strep in a very sneaky way. Like, if you hadn't presented all of that case history to the other PX docs, they wouldn't have thought about it, right? Because the scans weren't showing it as a priority. It snuck in there.
Yeah.
You didn't miss it.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's been a very, but it's cool because I see it's like a case like this makes the entire office elevate. And it's just, it's hard when, you're the family. That's kind of the thing that's helping the whole office elevate. But I'm now seeing all of my scans so differently because of the way that I'm approaching her care. And so really it's been a blessing after I get over the whole ego part of things, because I truly am like, we were getting great results before, but I think I can get people results even better now because of this case. But it is hard to have that,
Yeah, it's hard when I had this with another kid too. And I sent his scans to our PX community. Like, what do I do? Because he's doing so much better. He's doing 90% better in so many things. And his scans are telling me that there's more. We could do more, but I'm like, what does the care look like now that we're done with the care plan? And the PX doc, she was like, it looks like he's going to need supportive wellness for a long time, because it's not that you're doing anything wrong. You don't need to change your techniques. I was like, do I do this? Do I do this? It's like, it's just time. Like,
what is supportive wellness again? Is that just
so? It's like, okay, we're done with your care plan, and this is going to take a while. So wellness pricing for twice a week, essentially. Yeah, I also asked that question because this was my first.
Because I've heard them talk about it, but I've never.
Yeah, this was my first case where, like, I think twice a week makes the most sense, but how do I do that? And so that was what the community was for as well. It's like, how do we price this fairly to say, okay, Mom, this is what I had suggested was our timeline, and it sucks when we don't get to stick to our timeline.
Right. That's the hardest part.
Yeah. Because I kind of tell them, like, because all of our care plans are unique. It's like, if I have done a good job of reading your scans and was really honest when I put together the care plan, this is how much time it should take. Now I'm adding in like a lowering that we don't get sick, have like a huge growth spurt, huge life change, right? When life happens, there could be setbacks. And that's just the nature of the human body and experience, right? So yeah, and this mom, again, she's like, no, I understand. This is just who he is. And
it's like moms know.
Yeah. She's like, he's going to be a lifer.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Because she's getting her whole family under care, and she knows that her other kids' scans don't look the same. And they have completely different care plans. It's been much more predictable.
That's the hard part, is this family, unfortunately, both of her kids, I've been like,
yeah.
But it's fine.
Yeah.
Everything's fine. They're both under intensives this week, because I'm like, we're done. We're done with that. So yes, I do think I actually had someone refer to me from another PX office. And I think your ability to still remain confident in something that you feel shaky, it's like, I think that has been the thing that has saved me time and time again and has kept the trust and the authority, is that I always have the scans to go back off of. The only thing that I stopped predicting was how long it was going to take. And we're kind of just taking it day by day and just extending it 6-12 visits right at a time. But the certainty in the process, the care process hasn't changed. It's just, like the timeline. And so, and even when my clinical skills were shaky, I have another, I'm willing to go and ask for help so that can be, covered. And so I think that is a cool thing about what we get to do, is that we still, even in uncertainty, we can still provide certainty in most of the areas.
Mhm.
And I think that is what makes a big difference in care. It's not like we get to a certain point and then we're like, let's just guess until we get to the end.
Yeah.
The timeline is what I'm unsure about, but the care doesn't, and the quality of the care doesn't change.
Yeah.
And that's why it's like, even in this, well, you're making it feel like it's not as bad as I've been making it feel, maybe. But even in this scenario, I think it's just still cool that we have that fallback on it. It's like, we're just going to keep going until the scans and your symptoms are showing the same story. So just bear with us while we continue that process.
Yeah. And even when I have been shaky on my clinical skills, it's like, wait a minute, I have evidence that the way I'm adjusting is impacting the nervous system. I have objective evidence for that. And so then it's like, my confidence relies in that they were designed to adapt and heal. And they're going to, like,
True.
Without a doubt, they were designed to do that. And if I continue to be, what's the word? I've said this before, kind of obedient. That's what I think of it as. Like, if I'm obedient in removing subluxation, their body's going to do the work in adapting and healing.
Mm-hmm.
So, despite how perfect I am at what I'm doing.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. At the end of the day, it's there. Yeah. We're working with God as the source. And that's why I don't want to do that by myself in any capacity.
No.
So that's why it's all good. That's beautifully said. Cool.
Jum-
Well, if you are a parent who has ever been through Plateau, let us know how it went for you. Just curious. But if you are a parent who's like, yeah, I think I'm going to use this episode to send to parents to show, like, it doesn't always go exactly perfectly, and that's okay. That's still part of the process.
Mhm.
And so, yeah, if you're listening to this and maybe you're in the middle of a plateau or you're anticipating one, not that you want to anticipate one, but maybe you're like noticing progress has slowed down, you guys can listen to this and see that you still have doctors who care and who are leaning in and still have the certainty that they need to move forward, and you're not alone.
Yeah.
Healing is eventually going to happen. It always does.
I can pray us out. Dear Lord, thank you for the power that you have given us to heal and your amazing design. Thank you for grace from parents who understand that we as doctors are humans too. We're not God. We're not you. And we can only be obedient and offer humility and tenacity in trying to do your work. Right, and in healing your kingdom. In your name I pray. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you for joining us on Motherhood Aligned and Assigned.
We hope today's episode helped you connect the dots in your family's health journey.
Remember, this is where nervous system health meets motherhood wisdom.
Until next time, we're Dr. Veronica Schiltz.
And Dr. Serena Coffman, supporting you as you nurture your family's well-being.
Because when you're aligned, everyone thrives.